And away we go, folks, for a Tuesday. What's happening? Let's get started right away. Today's session brought to you by coffee. Great to be here. How's everyone doing? Listen, do a little surprise giveaway Tuesday because Thursday I will not be here. Actually, I might even have to reschedule Tuesday as next week. I'll let you know. Thursday, no session, so why don't we give away a gold to Mr. Proves, who came in first, typed in gold, and then the next person to type in GOLD will win another gold membership. We'll give 2 away, and this leads into our big June 30, next Friday, options seminar. Don't miss. It's open to all new subscribers, new purchasers of HPC software, and those that have purchased the program this year. If you're not hooked up, just connect on the Discord and send us a note, and we'll set you up. Several of you have already reached out to me on the Discord, and I'm happy to accommodate. So Proves, you got to contact Miss Stephanie on the Discord to get set up with that gold membership. And then Lifestyle Finds, you win another gold. I'm going to give away 2 more. I want a lot of people coming to this options seminar because we're going to use the software. We're going to use actually both. We're going to use TradingView, and then we'll get into the eSignal platform that I'll be using as well. Appreciate it. Yep. Not a gamer. Thank you very much for asking, Shoulder. I'm in total recovery. Let's see how it goes. Trying to avoid surgery on that, but I appreciate that. Give you guys another chance to win, but let's talk crypto. I've been shying away from crypto, almost cursing it almost as much as I was last November. And usually that's a sign where I get a little complacent. I don't want to be complacent because the whole phenomenon of being back here, first day of summer starting up, this solstice seasonal cyclical date with crypto tends to have some kind of significance. And we're not expecting much on Bitcoin or Ethereum other than just like a high level hold here. But the fact that we're coming into the 21st of June opens up a possible window, cyclicality, where, interestingly enough, we've spent 2 months going sideways. And more than enough time has passed where this correction, if it was going to be steeper, should be much lower. I still say that the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin and the rest are what's holding it in here. And that's, as I said on Thursday, 25.3, 25.7, 25.6, somewhere around there. Generally the 27,000 level, but I'm more concerned or more curious is probably an interesting way to put that, of saying, okay, we know that the 21st, crypto, for whatever reason, if it's June 21st, September, December, think about it this way, okay, back in December 21st, if we were looking for a general low, that served as a really nice timing factor. And even to a lesser extent, let's just trace it out. It's not like it's anything astrological other than just something, an observable cyclicality. There's March 21st. Let's just do this really quick so that those that aren't aware, especially those that are dedicated to crypto, just take note. Okay, these are the turning points. Just generally, I don't know how many of these are the last 2 years I've outlined, but I find it curious. There's September 21 generally, and then even go back. Last year was really where we were fishing for that bottom, and sure enough, I mean, despite the dramatic drawdown, okay, a lot of important first step lows, first step inflections seem to be in this ballpark. So why not here? Why not here? Big shout out to the chat. What's going on? A pretty good crew for Tuesday, late afternoon, or late for the afternoon, if you will. I'll get over to the markets in a minute because I think today's a gift. S&P is off 25, was off 30, and Qs were down 100 plus. This is a gift, folks. This is a gift. These kind of days, these one-off days, little 2-day, 3-day corrections in this kind of a market, continue to look at opportunities, and I'll show you those in a second. A couple of things, though, with Bitcoin before I move on, just to be aware of. And I've said that this is scraping absolute short-term corrective possibilities, but they're there. We want to see this thing break out. And this goes for all of crypto in general. We need Bitcoin to become a leader again and show us the way like it did back in March and especially back in January. Bitcoin really was the harbinger of what was going on, waking up before mostly the rest of the markets did, especially this kind of move in the ensuing weeks after the 21st low. First step for Bitcoin, break out, please. Just break out and do it now. So we're looking for a larger development phase. We know it's going to take a long time. We know, and I think I said this last week, that I still think that 37,000, as ugly as the last 2 months, 3 months, 37,000 up at our target one remains essentially what we're locking in on. This crab pattern, that target one. It's a little bit different on this perpetual futures. What about Binance? There's Coinbase. That's a good one. Yeah. 37 to 14. It's above 30,000 for sure. And that's where I think the development of this larger move that started from December, you're still dealing with that. You're still dealing with this kind of uptrend. And again, I said that last week. Critical retest to hold if this thing is going to do so. It's just you stretch out your timeline to where maybe Bitcoin fireworks don't start until more like the end of the year or later in the year. Not this summer, not this fall, but it makes some progress. Don't go down. You don't want a retracement from here. I mean, at worst, a back test at 23.2 in a ugly case scenario, maybe, but you're really talking about this trend line. So Bitcoin is still in a pause. The other thing to note that maybe sometimes is not easy to really recognize, what's the difference here? Because if we count the number of bars, and we go to the right here, you're already, 70, so it's 70, almost 70 bars from the top. And that's just a simple move off the low where looks like a 382 to me. At least for now, you're 382 right there at 25.2. Maybe that's what that is. Just a 382 within a downtrend and then, do an ABCD off the low. Again, I just don't think look, if you're looking for movement, it's not happening. And I've said this time and time again, you are thinking about next year the whole time. Anything you're committing, putting money to in crypto, it is about next year. So it just be patient. Know that this is a something you're lining up where, yeah, you're going to have to wait through it. The altcoins and some of the other stuff I've been mentioning before, I don't know if they're the same. I think you're going to need the leader, Bitcoin, to take off. Now, before I move on our list, it seems to me that the longer term charts, especially with what's happened in the last 2 months, really critical. And we'll see the breakout. And what we're looking for on this type of consolidation and breakout, I need a 3-bar breakout. I need a 3-week breakout above that downtrend. And for now, last 3 weeks ago, the 3-week trailing high is about 28,500. So if you really want to see something go on, we need a strong move, breakout above 28.5 to get this thing started. Keep an eye on that, but it's a weekly, and there'll be plenty of time here to make that move. Number 2, Ethereum, and Ethereum is just kind of hanging in there as well, without much to go on. It's just the daily chart looks like this. Pausing. Oh, there was an HSI last week. We've been saying 1800 to 1750. It flashed down to 1620, but that would pretty much need to be it. Look at your indicators here. Deep oversold from last week. So that took a lot of the air out of the tires. And again, that kind of double confirmation coming in around the 21st, a seasonal change, is probably more significant than even what happened back here in April, end of April. We've done nothing. We didn't expect to do much, but now we can fish for a low. Number 3, Binance Coin. I'm just fundamentally not a fan. Fundamentally not a fan here on Binance Coin with all this stuff going on. Not that it, we basically said if this falls apart, If it's under 200 or under 220 anytime soon, that would be a problem. Here we're generating, and I find that interesting, we're generating a crab pattern on the daily off the top. It's the first one we've seen in a while. Zero confirmation. I'll watch that closely, but just, I wouldn't even want to go on anything without a yellow dot, and you had nothing there. Again, Cardano, more about the weekly time frame. You're hitting oversold HSI, but remember, we would need to touch there this week, pivot out 2 or 3 more weeks. Just not the place to be. I think there's other things that are more appealing. We'll get into that. Hey, what's up, Neil? Neil's saying that BT smashing it. It is. And I'll get to those miners in a second, and we outlined them last week. Really interesting stuff with that. The miners are acting strong. So there's something going on there. That's a clue. I really think that is a clue of overall BT has continued to be strong, where there's been a couple of flashes in the last 2 or 3 months since that low. I mean, look, we were picking BT off at $1 and change. It's now almost $4. And our target's 12. And I always said that seems like a crazy target. Well, we're making good progress. Number four, I guess XRP, because it's a bigger beast than Cardano. But XRP, like I said last week, hasn't changed. 55 short term, 45 midterm. You do have a pattern here on the daily. It's a shark pattern, but hey, we're trying to come back right now. I talked about that last week. This could be a potential 5-0 pattern, but you're 2 days away after today. You need a dot. So if we go sideways between 46 and 48 for several more days, don't be surprised. But if you were in XRP, you are looking for this to hold and start to bust out. Nothing will happen on XRP until you're well above these prior highs. Call it a close above 60. If you want to get to 90, which is this target up here off of that pattern, 93, that's what you need to do. But a lot of overhead resistance just preventing that from coming out, as well as a lot of, just, I won't even make the comment, but a lot of ignorance in DC. Next one, final one, is Cardano. So Cardano reminds me of Ethereum when it did its Type 2 last year. Got down, it was a 2 of 2. The whole crypto market looked ugly, and Ethereum gave us a great confirmation level. Cardano, much the same way, where looks like we're trying to put in a dot on the Type 2 finally. There you go. Couple of patterns at the low. And I said this all along, that let it hit the retest. So we're at the retest. Okay? And it's a 2 of 2, folks. I mean, that is perfect for what we want to see. If you're a fan of Cardano, this would be the first time since last cycle that you'd had concrete pattern formation with confirmation, 2 of 2, all of that, to say, okay, maybe this is worth a shot. My only concern is that we take longer. We take more time. So remember, it's been over a week. Got down here, smashed on through the retest of 28, dipped down to 25. I think 25 is a good number. Believe it or not, yesterday we had a second small green candle. Let me show you that. Tough to see, but this is why we're marking it. That second candle at 26 cents, that's the first sign of anything but I'd be patient with that. You'd want to see that thing turn around, do a 3 bar breakout, something before expecting that to come out of the zone. Absolutely sets up quite well. Take a look at the weekly. Cardano. Again, this would have to be it. If you're looking for the end of the cycle low, it would have to be down here at 25 cents. And check out the weekly. So this is the thing for the week. And no coincidence, here we are again, June 21st. We're hitting oversold HSI. We're hitting oversold amplified. Looks like this. And they're trying to pivot out. So critical week for Cardano. I think about it this way. With that kind of an action down into the zone and retesting the low for the move, why not wait for the green candle on the week? If this is going to be some kind of major retest support point, we would see at least a few weekly green candles. It's not going to just pivot. It's not going to hit this area and then explode and leave you in the dust some way. No. We're going to be down here doing a couple of green candles, maybe another week or two to set up so you can have a 3 bar breakout. If you really feel like you have to FOMO, maybe just FOMO with 1% of what you want to FOMO with. Not a lot of reason to chase that. Really not a lot of reason to, eyes on it for sure, but Cardano is just, it needs more time. Literally, I would say just look at this day over day for the next week. Execution, the ability for this to be a real actionable opportunity is still, I would say, 3-4 days away. If it happens. Evan says you love ADA, you love Cardano. If XRP wins, it gives Cardano and others an automatic win. I agree. You need something if they're going to keep going after these companies like Binance. Like I didn't get my money off of Binance, so I think I now have to transfer USDC or something somewhere else. But that's just not a good situation. Closing down like imagine closing down, like JP Morgan, or closing down a big execution firm like TD Ameritrade or something like that. You can't trade on their platform, and we're going to trap your money there. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I might have to ask somebody what's the right way to do that. Transfer the crypto off of their exchange. Regardless, let's get through this junk now. Let these bad news events, whatever the government's going to do, let it do it now. Because as soon as they do clear the way, give you a decision on XRP or some kind of guidelines, that will be good for crypto. Until then, you're going to get a lot of kind of FUD to come in and just thump prices. Let's look at a couple of random ones that do have interesting patterns. And here we are. This has been an interesting one in the last few weeks, months, is Render. And I've said this time and time again, check it out. Render's back-to-back now, and the kind of back-to-back that I like, where maybe, 178 comes in here. Do we do a 1-2 and then go? But Render's nice dynamics, back-to-back dynamics, and comes back up where we look for that type 2, something like that. There aren't too many of these, but the ones that are, a few patterns have developed in the last 2 weeks like this that are suggestive. The other one is Matic. So I think you guys will like this. Check out Matic. Boing. Beautiful butterfly. But again, look, it took 7, 8 days after testing the zone. Perfect XA level at 52.5. I mean, perfect. 72.59. It's just, sorry, 52.59. And that's a perfect 1618 there. Yellow dot came in, but I still think this is trying to consolidate in this lower zone. It's 60 at the moment. Look down here, maybe back at the 52 area. Not ready to jump on that. I think pretty close. I'd want to see some kind of 3-bar breakout, but there's your confirmation at 59. And we're coming up to the 21st, so why not? Why not? I think you're early on these, but let's kind of turn our heads towards that direction. S&P is starting to rally. You turkey, as I've been talking here. A couple more. Sure, I'll look at Solana. Solana, yeah, it's a little crab pattern, but remember, Solana has a larger, what was it, weekly? Yeah, it has this larger weekly shark alternate bat. What is that? It is a shark. Down here, I think that's a better one. There's Binance on the weekly. But 12, 12, around 12 for that retest. We do have confirmation there, but, Solana hasn't done much since the pop from early January. There it is. And it is a deep crab at the low, which I think has to get with this one, like Cardano. Okay, check it out. XA level. That was tested in a flash move last week. I find that interesting. Off that deep crab. And that was 12. But I still want to see a yellow dot. Why not just, let's be a little more patient. Come on back down and actually set up for the retest. But again, not a bad spot. Okay, these are in a good area to really start looking after the 21st, after tomorrow. Couple more, and then I got to get to the Qs and the SPY because they're starting to move. What's the other one? Sorry. Oh, the other one was come back to this Ethereum Classic. Much like the other Ethereum, we're still under the constraints of that downtrend. And where is the weekly on that one? Weekly, this is the one I wanted to highlight, and this is good for a lot of the altcoins. All right, Ethereum Classic, we came down, we actually did hit the hop level on a retest. It was as low as 1261. After thinking about it, looking at that over the weekend, listen, this has to be the low. And we need to come down just a little bit more, maybe this week, hit the area and pop out. Until that happens, okay, I'll be patient on it, but it is a type 2 butterfly by definition, and it needs to trigger with a dot and get to the right of that downtrend. So like the rest of these, let this week sail through and then really get on this, say tomorrow, Thursday, start looking at what is the follow through. Stay on that. Trying to be constructive, not trying to be dismissive on crypto, but I do think we got to line these up carefully, closely. Where was the other one? This Cartesi. This thing was trying to pop and rolled over. And this is like a lot of those from January. Just really big one-off rug pull move. Up, down, back down. Versus some of those like, here's some of those AI, AGIX. Really nice Gartley. And if you go through and you're working with Harmonic pattern collection, especially on TradingView, what you want to be looking for is pattern completion, but then let's get a yellow dot. And we don't have a yellow dot. Some are going to generate confirmation, others might not. But those are nice patterns off of this correction. I just want to see the confirmation come in. Looks like this too. There's Ocean. Seems to be holding up a little bit better than the rest, but Ocean had a bunch of patterns back in January where, in effect, what that move was from the December low was a big type 1. So I would look for Ocean to come in still a little bit lower. Until these are really concrete, just let them go. Be patient with them because you're not going to be able to pull much out of that. One or two more, three more. Okay, Brandon wants to look at Gala, which I want to look at Gala because we had the shark. It did something deeper. We were starting to look at Gala at 2.8, 2.9. It went to 2. And I addressed this last time where it then did this bigger bat pattern. And that's crypto. I mean, that's just, face it. This is what happens in crypto. So it's a beautiful bat pattern. No confirmation down here at 2 cents. Beautiful pattern. Full 886 retracement, but let's let it do its thing. That could easily pop to 3 and then come back down to 2 before it sets off any kind of longer term deal. And we've seen that over and over again on crypto. Beautiful pattern, type 1 reaction has to come back down for the retest. So that's where you are. You're stuck. Unless something explodes through there, again, this is the issue with it. And you go to the weekly. I mean, look at the weekly. You're threatening to retest all-time new lows on that move. So even if you like it and you wanted to hit it, the best thing you can get is a little 2 to 3 cent reaction, but that would be about it. Here's Fetch AI, probably everything that you want to see in terms of that AI narrative. Big deep crab. Look, deep crab completed all the way down here. It was a type 2, very ugly. And now we have another crab back down in that zone. This is what I'm talking about, where some crypto have patterns that have developed. In fact, a bunch of new ones off of that correction. But now I want to see that confirm and start to move up. At least Fetch has some kind of starting point. But amazingly, that 10x move came all the way back down mostly. So I'm aligning these up. If you're into crypto, those are some of the best ones that are just coming back here against the long-term support and probably going to require another 3 months or more to get off of these lows. And that is what you're hoping for from now till September, to recover and regain at least a type 1 reaction, maybe even to target 2. I mean, that's a double on Fetch AI. It's just that that's probably your maximum move. And I would still say the long-term uptrend is going to require a heck of a lot of consolidation and grinding before you do anything kind of major. It's tough. That's where you are. S&P's now, I'm going to have to jump in there a second. 1 or 2 more. Okay, I don't know what that Stacks is, but I'll look at Stacks. Stacks. That's AI, right? Yeah, another one. Look. Not much there. Let me get a better... Where is it? I guess this is fairly new, right? Is that fairly new? And this is AI as well. Pretty sure of that. Yeah, I don't have much. That's got to be relatively new. If I had a pattern, I really don't have a pattern, so I'd rather stick with those that have a pattern or let that develop. 4-hour chart. Okay. You've had a few bumps along the way on the 4-hour, but I don't expect anything more than reactions here. Yeah, Follow Josello wants to look at XLM, stellar lumens. Okay. Much like the rest of these, this one runs in sympathy with Cardano. Had some patterns down there a while back and then just took a nosedive. Here's the weekly on that. But I don't think anything, these class of crypto, until XRP can sort out its difficulties, this situation doesn't go. And here we are with actually looks like a full deep crab retest to the hop. There you go. There's no confirmation down here. All the way back down, I would be targeting 6.7 cents. Retest that low. But again, until Bitcoin fires up, XRP gives you some kind of clarity. Things like this, which move pretty much in tandem with those other markets, will not do much. Yeah, you got it, Justin. I don't know what the I just think it's going to be. We need to really wait for the ideal setup, guys, with crypto. If we force things now, we see what happens, and I'll tell you about. And it's not necessarily a force. And I've addressed the lackluster action of these kind of crypto, but we know Chili's, which something I said this last week, which is just garbage. It really we're looking at 11.3 as a minimum retest. Completely failed that. In fact, we were since the beginning of the year, we were looking at 11.3, and it went from 11.3 to 16, and then just dragged on back. And you did that kind of a thing. That just is the failing crypto. And yeah, maybe you sit on that and then it comes to life next year. But for now, yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised to see that as low as 5.4. Test the hop level at here. I mean, that was just a bad one. That was a bad one. That's why I have, it really was reluctant to release stuff because I only put out like 1 or 2 of the videos in terms of what we were looking at for premium members, and they were just ugly. Here's Algo, another one, 17 cents. We started looking at that. It's now trading 11.5. And the thing about it is that it's not constructive because we have been dragging since the top and we continue to make new lows. So, you kissed the hop level at 9.28 cents on that flush, but just nothing there. Again, I will come back and give crypto more attention after the fact. After Bitcoin starts running, after you see some other other major developments. I do think the miners are better. The miners are better. Ox Rusky is asking for Filecoin. Again, I think that's that'll be the last one. You know why? Because Filecoin is an example of something doing nothing. And if I look at this and I'd say that chart looks like Blockbuster. This stock looks like Blockbuster right before it went out of business and Netflix took over. All right, this Filecoin, it was 150, 200, whatever that was. This is a nothing. And these kind of crypto, you have to look at the weekly scenario. You see that kind of chart, and you get into that, you're going to be swimming. You're literally going to be swimming with the fishes, quite frankly, by doing nothing, going sideways in penny stock, like a penny stock. It's probably, you could throw darts at a penny stock sheet and do better than that. Stick with the ones that have development, folks, that really are kicking butt. Have proven themselves with some structure. For those that weren't here, really quick, I do want to just show 2 or 3 of the miners. Look at Bybit, or excuse me, Bit Digital. Amazing. That should be over 4 soon and get you to 1293. That's just been on a steady climb. It's impressive. No doubt. The other one you guys know I like is Riot. And it's probably in my top 2 in that area. So look at those. If you're stuck on crypto, come on over to the stocks for a little bit. Mix up your offering here. Because I do think Riot, we said this last week, trying to do the type 2 return from 983 back to 12, between 1214. I like that. So good interaction in the chat today. What's going on, guys? Let's give another gold membership. GOLD. First person to type GOLD will win a 30-day gold membership, access to the software, and you will be able to join us on the 30th for the options seminar. Who will that be? Jason Fang, you're a winner. Awesome. Again, I won't be here on Thursday, folks, but you have to jump over to harmonictrader.com, become a basic member, and then click over to the Discord through that page. It's all there. Okay, there's the information. I will be posting the access information for the gold members for next Friday at the beginning of next week, in basically 1 week. If you're not a basic member, get over to harmonictrader.com, sign up there, and then here's the deal. You have to get with our TradingView software at a minimum simply by sending your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. The other thing that to get set up with for eSignal, that's what we're using options on. So I'm working with options. Oh, sorry about that. Click under number 1, click eSignal, set up there. Okay, you do have to pay for the data. It's not that much. I mean, really, I think it's a great deal. It's worth it, especially if you're a full-time trader. The data is worth it. And just to let everybody know, scroll down to the bottom of the page. Right here is where you can get a 25% discount through us to their data, but it's only through us. So you got to click there. Click there and get action set up here. There's the information. You want I think the signature. Basically, the signature is their basic package with the added options feed. Okay? Let's get to some of those charts right now. Let's get into it. So S&P is off 15. Qs aren't too bad. The Nasdaq not too bad after just an insane month. One of the greatest months we've seen in probably 10, 15 years. Let's go start with the Qs. That's our number 1 chart. And look at that. Look at that. Nothing changes here. We're still up against this hop level. I know there's a lot of lines here on the screen, but 370, maybe we pause. But what we're really interested in, we're trading 367 right now. 385. No, sorry, that doesn't seem right. Let's get that right. There. Okay. Yeah, it's more like 395, 392. That's the goal for this summer. And I mean this summer as in tomorrow is the 21st of June. Give me that 90-day window. Doesn't seem like much, but still almost 7-8% higher from current levels. 886, all-time 886 is the target for the year. That's 392. So your mega tech, and we'll do the top 5 again, they will continue. They will continue. So stick with that. Ride that. That's the plan. That is our what we call our summer playbook. And I posted some charts this morning in the Discord, and one of them was QQQ on our 5-minute. But interesting, look at the regular trading hours, not extended, but the regular trading hours. The pattern showing up there. So really interesting crab pattern right now. I posted that this morning. Looks like we just completed the type 1. What I'm interested in for the option plays are 5-minute type 2s. I mean, that would have been a nice one this morning, 364 to 367. But let's come back, and if we're going to get a real continuation of this larger trend, it's on the type 2. Let's watch how we get into tomorrow, but that's the framework, folks. That's where we're looking for, major continuation in the uptrend. I'll talk about this in the seminar of why we want the major market running with us as support, obviously. In the same way you'd want Bitcoin to be running with running the whole crypto market, because you got money flowing in there that would help float the altcoins and the T coins and the S coins. But that's a perfect type 1. Let's see. I suspect we have a yellow dot here. That's the end of a type 1 reaction. It's perfect. Now let's see if we can get the type 2 and then set us off for the rest of the week. Remember, today's Tuesday. So let's get into that. Let's talk tech. Check out Tesla, guys. New highs for the move right now, 270. It just cracked. Amazing. 270 today, despite trying to sell off. What's Tesla going to do? It's 295. Going to the weekly target off that butterfly. 295. It's just, and it's a nonstop. We're going to keep moving on that. And that could happen this week. Maybe line up the 300 calls every week, taking shots. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's the screen. This is the eSignal platform, Harmonic Pattern Collection. Here's Tesla on the options. So let's look at, what's happening Friday. Now, these options are already going to be up, but if we were looking for, say, the 300 calls, and we had those patterns like last week, we want to see the same patterns in the option contracts. The 300 calls, amazing open interest at 30,000, 32,000. But right there, what did we have here? Wow, they're now just starting to pop. Daily, I like to look, I'm bringing up the daily, but I want to look at like the 5-minute mostly for these kind of out of the monies. And there you go. Look at the 300 calls, folks. This is what I'm going to be covering in the seminar. And I want everyone to kind of be aware, wake up to what's going on here. I think we all understand type 1, type 2. So I'll talk a lot about framework. But here, beautiful 5-minute type 2 deep crab where, we just did a retest this morning at 52. And, you got to kind of block out the fact that Tesla's all the way down there, 270, 280, and focus more on the fact that this is following ideal harmonic pattern conditions, type 1, type 2, where if we get from 52 to 60 cents, our target 2 is 123, like that. That's how we line it up. This is also why we favor, or even know which strike price to hit. I mean, it's pretty easy to say, okay, maybe we go to the 290s or the 280s or whatever. These are the 300s. And the reason why it shows up because the way the trading sets up, this looks a little bit different. I mean, that contract is beautiful. So forget about the other, getting caught up with, oh, okay, it has to rally 20, 30 points in 3 days. No, just what is that contract? What's that setting up on, and how do we play the follow through? Because there's your 5 minute. And I'd want to trigger off of little 5 minute continuation signals. Let's get extended data in there. There you go. There was a beautiful 5 minute pattern in the pre-market. I know you can't really capture that, but that is kind of what we're looking for. At this point for Tesla, if it's going to set up where we're going to make the run to 300 this week or next week, I mean, that's the general play. We want to see, say, 5 minute continuation patterns with those type of option signals. Now, let's come back to the option, the 300s, right there. Okay, notice how this will bounce around. It's spent quite a bit of time coming into the zone, and then finally today you're doing a turnaround, you're doing a reversal. This still could take time. Still could take time. And we're looking for the continuation. We're looking for the entry in the zone, no doubt. I mean, this one almost perfectly hit the hop, but you're there. But don't just jump on it, is what I'm saying, is because if you're in the zone with the pattern, what we want to get is a thrust on the underlying price. You're 270, you're 269 right now. All right. I'm waiting for a pullback intraday, 5 minutes, something like that. So keep an eye on Tesla. Don't jump on it, but you do have clear patterns set up in the 300s. And now I just want to catch the next 5 minute pullback. Here's something I'm looking at right now. I'm going to start to buy these calls. AMD with this one's got a look real nice 5 minute. Let's sell off on the 5 minute. Sorry, it's the hourly. There's the hourly chart. So we do have a pattern here. Nice back-to-back pattern on AMD. Hell of a sell-off from the last 10 days. But this is exactly within the uptrend, the kind of patterns we want to look for. Come off that reaction, stabilize. Anything around where it is right now, you have confirmation, you have a pattern, you have a pivotal turning point here where even you go to, say, a type 1 reaction, 124 is a sizable move. A sizable move. Let's jump over to what those option contracts, really easy to do this. Pull up the screen, go on in here. You can even link it up. You can click that, and that'll change it. I don't know why that's not working. It was working. There's AMD. Let's look at the 124s. This is the other thing I'll highlight on what strike price to look for. One of the things we want to look at volume, because you're going to tell you that's where all the players are. The 120s have almost 20,000 contracts. We're looking for a bump, and one of the strategies here is looking for some out of the money plays, 2-3 strikes to get going. There's the 123s. There you go. 5 minute chart. Couple of patterns down here, but not ready yet. Let me see here. I thought that was the one. Oh, that's the 122s. I'm looking at the 123s or 124s. Go with where the clearest patterns are. There's the 23s. Sorry. Where's the 20? I just had that. 124s. Had a HSI down here. I mean, there's a big pattern there. Sorry, something's really escaping me here. Maybe I'm confusing this with Amazon. Let me come back here. I might be confusing this with Amazon. Basically, similar. I mean, there's definitely a pattern there. The underlying has an hourly structure. I think it is. I think I'm confusing that with Amazon. I do like AMD. I really do. I think it's. Let's just look at AMD on the daily. There you go. Heck of a move here. Um, it is a type one by definition. It's pretty ugly, but I'm thinking we're going to go to target two. 136 is kind of the play here. Let me jump over to Amazon. I think Amazon was it's essentially the same price, and I think the option had I think the 122s or 23s in Amazon had a nice setup. There's Amazon. Let's go to the 5 minute. And I still like Amazon because longer term, some of those levels are pointing higher. It just hasn't moved as clearly as some of the others. 125 is support. Playing something like out of the money, 128s, 130s, looking for that larger move is not a bad idea. Let's pull up like the 125s on Amazon for the week. Because when these pull off, when they retrace, during the week, every once or twice in the week, even in this strong uptrend, these continue to be giving nice pullbacks. There, that's what it was. All right, so Amazon. Sorry to take so long, but this was what I was looking for. So Amazon, I mentioned this last week. It's a Type 2 retest here, around $2, 215. The hop level 199, and at least I have something in the underlying. And then we go over, or in the contract. Now we go over to the underlying, and we're now looking for 5 minute phenomenon. Give me something on a 5 minute that would set this off and get going there. And there's a shark. Actually, in the extended hours trading, this morning's low at 125 was an official Type 2. Still early, but that's what we want to see. And we know it's 2 of 2. We know even if it's in the pre-market, that still qualifies. And this is the type of situation why I'm favoring Type 2 5 minute structures, because they have longer to go. They have a greater potential. Yes, the Type 1 moves, they can be sharp and quick and really, net the move, realize the move a lot more quickly. But why the Type 2s? Because we're gunning for the target 2. It's a larger segment. Also, we know that if there's going to be a blowout, a real larger continuation, it's more likely to happen after the retest. So you've got that. And then when we go to the Amazon, go to those Amazon contracts. What's that? Sorry, let's go to the one. What was the 120? Sorry, where's that chart? Here, let's bring this back up. Let's go back to Amazon. There you go. 120, 123, 124. And I'm a fan of at least being one strikeout, maybe two even, because that's where we're capturing the moves. All right, there's the 5 minute 123s. It's a Type 2 at 330. But the pattern's telling us it's going, 127, 128. If it does the move. And that's what we're trying to capture. 124s look like that. Down here at the hop, you have HSI. I like that. I mean, that's how I've been stretching these out. Couple of questions. What's up, chat? Great to see everybody. Laser D saying is interested in seeing how the confirmation strategies play out with the options, and we'll be getting into that. We want 5-minute stuff. We want patterns in the options. The other thing is you definitely want a 60-minute HSI in your favor, like this, not daily, 60-minute. Because if we saw that in AMD, okay, there's a 60-minute bearish signal there in Amazon. I think AMD is probably the ideal case because you have a pattern, you have a 60-minute signal there. Come on, where'd you go? Let me bring it back up in here. Now you're just waiting for some kind of 5-minute phenomenon. Here's AMD. AMD, beauty. That is beautiful. Sorry, 1 hour time frame on AMD. There you go. The 5-minute time frame, not there yet, but you have the beginnings of what constitutes an ideal option situation. Who said that? Brandon Vega is saying Intel, and I agree. Intel's another one I've been hyping up for a while, and almost hit 37 last week, a little bit of a pullback. Intel is another one. Let it come in. Let it do its thing. I think we're almost oversold on the hourly. So maybe later this week and let that come in. Nothing really there yet for a 5-minute opportunity, but I do like the Intel chart because of this. And I would continue to play it that way where we know the daily is just phenomenal deep crab acting, unfolding in ideal fashion. 41.36 is the target. When does that get hit though? Is it July earnings or is it something later? So I'm it's on my board. I'm looking at it every day, and I really think it's not going to be as sexy as, say, Tesla, but it's where you want to be. And play it for that minimum move to 40-something with the possibility of going like higher on the weekly, like we've seen with so many of these that have come out of these massive zones where target one is an easy reach by the time it gets there, but if there's follow through, it goes higher. Okay, couple more. Justin's asking, do we have the arrows and dots for the e-signal options? Not yet. I'm going to try to get it done by next Friday. I got to talk to Chris on that. But we can get that. We're really what you want. You got the HSI arrows. You don't have the dot, but really what we're looking for is confirmation on those options. But we should be to the right of the dot no matter what. Like, an hourly dot, especially on the underlying, is critical. Because then if we know we have an underlying dot, then we're going to get acceleration. I mean, for Intel, it started early June, even though we were talking about Intel since last month. It was one of our 3 ideas for premium members. And we were initiating that, 28 to 30. And that was the last dip down on Intel. And I think that's the last one, period. We'll get into it. Couple of more. Okay, H4 wants to look at NQ. Yeah, we can look at NQ. We haven't looked at the futures in a little bit. Let me jump over there. Here's NQ on 5-minute. And look, NQ, a nice rebound this morning. Yeah, a little 5-minute HSI. If there was a 5-minute HSI signal, it's right there. But NQ futures are like the rest of them. Okay, on a steady climb until we get to the 886. All that's here for NQ, your 886 is like there, just around 16,000. What's that? A shark. And continue to play that. There's nothing there that would stop that yet. There's your 886, 16,086. It's almost 1,000 higher. Who said that again? H4 said that. H4, that's where we are. And the breakout above this August peak, which was really the pivot, we said once that's taken out, bull market resumption. And we're just a pause right now. Pause, and it looks like S&P's bringing it in. We'll be positive on today's close. Guaranteed. We'll be positive because the momentum of what's going on. There you go. There's a 5-minute chart. You're ready to go to new highs on that move. Hold on. I gotta buy something. One second. Hold on. I'm not gonna tell you guys, but I gotta pick something up. All right, I'm buying more Intel. Thank you. Great. And here we go, accelerating on through. So there's futures. That's NASDAQ futures. That all looks good. Here's S&P futures. Amazing. We were 44.12. Now we're all the way back retesting the ABCD. We're up 30 off the low in 2 hours, folks. That's what a bull market looks like. Sorry. It's a big dump down in the morning, and I just buy them on back. That's why you got what you got. I mean, that's why that kind of behavior continually, every time they throw that down, they keep running it. There's the 60-minute time frame, but it's really about the 886. Listen, we've said this. We'll continue to pound on the table that you're not even thinking anything but up until these minimum 886s are hit. So we saw on NASDAQ futures, it's above 16,000, is another 1,000 higher. S&P, 200 higher from current levels to get to the 886. 200 higher. You continue that. You ride that, you play that until you're up there. And interestingly, look at your indicators on the weekly. HSI giving you a false signal where that probably comes down just to the 50 area and turn back up like it did there and there. So you actually want this really to hold right in there. Don't want to see it. HSI can turn back up on that weekly time frame, like we start to turn around and continue higher. We could really get a move to the overbought quickly. That's how you get that final acceleration move. The other interesting thing is amplified RSI is overbought, but it's staying in the overbought condition. And until that even was to come out of the zone, that will stay in that area until it does so. So your next 200 from where we are immediately to the 886. And we have been on that for a while. I mean, really critical to see how quickly that has developed once we triggered past this little 886. We first hit that little swing 886 from August way back in February. So then 3 months later, you finally break out. Well, you have to recognize that we're 3 weeks into the acceleration phase, easily another 3 more weeks. This is the summer playbook we have been talking about for a long time. Stick with it. Hey, CJ. CJ wants to look at Bill. I don't know what Bill is, one of those Shopify type. I know you've asked a few times, uh, recent sessions. I don't, this is Bill Holdings. I don't know what that is, but let's see. Oh, it's a beautiful butterfly. It was type 1. Looks like that reaction's over. Um, yeah, not much there. Really not much there. If we were going to do something larger, we would bust above target 1 there. Patience on that one. I'll come back to that in a week or two. I like that. Couple of more questions. Couple more people want to look at a few more stocks. Sure. Let me go back here. Rivian. Yes, Rivian is Brandon. Rivian is giving away all my premium ideas, but yes, Rivian is one of our 3 ideas. And Rivian is starting to move now. I'm looking for that at 14, but it's, today got right out of the gate. Maybe better to look at it on the TradingView platform. And I will say this, those stocks have been decimated, but putting in a lot of ideal structure, confirmation, doing stabilization as it needs to. And if Rivian can pop out of that zone, 2283 is an easy type 1 target. Let me rip through some of those second tier EVs. So there's Rivian. Here's NIO. Okay, NIO, couple of big patterns down there. Deep crab. What? They look ugly. They've looked ugly, but now you're to the right of that downtrend. That's the difference between now and 6 months ago. You're to the right of that downtrend. I think the weekly has something there too. Yeah, the weekly's even better. There's NIO, folks. You guys tell me. Has it cleared to the right of the downtrend? Yep. 3-bar breakout last week. And we're still under XA level. So if that pops on the weekly, $30 is what we would look for. But do remember, we would go into a 30-bar count no matter what. 30-bar count from pattern completion is already done. I mean, you're 30 weeks now. But I would say, let's go 30 weeks to the right of the downtrend breakout. Now that you don't have to deal with that, you should be looking at it like this. By the end of the year into early next year, that's not a bad thought. Definitely. Simon's asking, do I have the ABCD turned off? Maybe. I probably do on this because I want to look for complex structures. Let me see here really quick. It's a good question, Simon. Yeah, I do. I have ABCD turned off. And again, that's in the settings. You can show ABCDs. I just prefer to look for the complex patterns, although the ABCDs are really good. A couple of more. What's going on, everybody? A few more people popping in. Great to see everyone. LC asking about Bitcoin. At 28,000. Look, I think Bitcoin's got to get obvious. Let's just leave it at that. Bitcoin has to do obvious things to where you're almost feeling like you're missing out. And then the larger scenario will develop. Frankie wants to look at ARK, and I want to look at ARK. But you want to look at ARK W? Oh, the 3 leverage? Just let's look at Kathy Wood, the underlying. What is that? Hold on. Because I said this last week too with the ARC stocks. Those type of vehicles, they're waking up. ARC, there you go. ARKK. Look at that. Look at those patterns. Remember, we completed a year ago, which is amazing. You go sideways for a year, but we're still not out of the downtrend. I would be looking at that for a downtrend weekly breakout over the next 2 months, 3 months, because we know that there's nothing there once that pops and get to the right of that and break out. That's been the lesson, I think, for crypto, where if we were messing with crypto last year, anything underneath the downtrend was just a reaction, and you're not even going to move until you get to the right of that downtrend. Same with these stocks. Yep. And, maybe she will eventually be right. I know she's buying more Coinbase, and I'm looking at Coinbase. I'm looking at that 49 level. I said that last week. It did bounce, but another sleeper. The problem is if it fails, you know where this goes. So I'm just looking. Something that's similar to that, but I prefer a little bit better. Something like PayPal. Okay, that's a new 3 ideas. Essentially back at 64. Maybe that's getting away from us. I don't know. A lot of those high flyers. Roku, another one. You get these on radar now, because if they do the move and they can get off of the low, then they will recover a lot of that historic price action. There you go. I mean, if Roku had a little shark, but on the weekly, it's like this. Where is that? Maybe it wasn't Roku. It was Roku, PayPal. It escapes me. Roku, PayPal. Was it Square? It's one of these. Yeah, there it is. Well, Square too. Massive shark. But we could go months sideways. Square, anywhere under 65. Yeah, Square this is like a lot of those that got crushed. And here's Shopify. Oh, don't want to get out of there. Here's Shopify. Same deal. Did a big breakout move. Should just be the beginning of it, deep crab right off the low. So if we can get a pullback and then start the second leg, that would be ideal. But a lot of these that had a massive crash last year. Again, you're to the right, clearly to the right of that downtrend, which is different than other ones that we've looked at. Snow, JT, thank you. That is one of those in that group. It's a second tier spec tech, because you had all of those concept tech stocks that ran after COVID and then got crushed last year. Even the likes of like Nvidia got crushed 60, 70%. So Snow, yeah. And then the other one is Cloudflare that ran quite nicely. Looks like it's stalling out at target 2 here. But they're still relative to the weekly time frame. They look like they've run a lot, but you go to the weekly, it's not even a 382. And there's a ton of these. There's probably like, I don't know, 50 of these type of tech stocks that need to do a 382 bump. Keep an eye on that. Couple more. Oh, Nikola too. You want to, this was supposed to go bankrupt, wasn't it? And I thought there was something down here. Someone's saying Nicola. I don't think that was, no, maybe I'm thinking Fisker. Fisker, looks like that. FSR. No, seems like I'm stuck on car stocks today, but here's one that I did mention a while back, and it's Toyota Motors. And look at that now. Big deep crab. We were on that at 135. All right, went hit target one, got rejected. But longer term, it's still setting up for a new cycle move. So if you're not on Toyota Motors, I would seriously start looking at that maybe after the next correction, and then you go again for the larger move. I think the 185 is not crazy. A lot going on there, and for whatever reason, good to see the car stocks run if you want to speculate in the EV space. Get those larger ones moving. A lot going on. I mean, I like a lot of the development of things. Oh, I just hit AT&T, even AT&T. There's a Type 2 shark. I didn't mean to hit that, just hit it by accident, but perfect 2 of 2. Really quick, let me just show crude oil. I think we covered it quite well last time. Futures chart. You're back at 70. You're negotiating a couple of patterns. 65 to 70, folks. And until we do a weekly 3-bar breakout, we will trade in this area. Now, interesting thing that reason why I'm covering this today is to show you the fact that things like Marathon Oil, XLE, a couple of these others are finally getting back down to hitting 2 of 2. And that's the big event. I mean, we brushed it a month ago. Let's get some confirmation down here. Probably the best one to look at is XLE. And again, it's a type 2 is rarely an immediate inflection and you don't get a second chance. And here's XLE. Never got above target 1. And you saw where we had the arrows at 80, above 82. Sure, it would get going, but didn't do that. Let's hold on that. 76.45. Get confirmation down here. Because that is the big kind of development that needs to happen for the market to really take off. Crude oil, banks, they need to set up with 2 of 2s like this, give us confirmation, and then they start going. That goes with tech stocks, then you got the full-on market breakout. Absolutely setting up here. This is where being early, which we commonly are because we're identifying patterns, type 1, type 2 scenarios well in advance, requires us to be patient. Think about Cardano. Think about how many months I said, I'm waiting on Cardano. I'm going to wait for Cardano to retest. So it did. Took its time. We keep it on a list and we just kind of keep moving. One or two more. Brandon, you're on fire today, man. I'll look at Ford. Ford F daily. Oh, I don't know why that just flashed a shark up there. There's your weekly. Pretty remarkable at $11 forever. It's a 2 of 2. Not crazy about Ford. Not as much as some of those others. I know Ford was a monthly long ago. Yeah, there it was. forward on the monthly. Now, this is a little more interesting because we're clear of the downtrend. It is a type 1 bat to target 1. Did it get there? There's target 1. That's type 1 reaction. All the way back down, there's the type 2. So technically, off of that bat pattern, this is a 2 of 2 where we could be setting up again. All right, I like that a little bit more, but let's see if it's late right now at 14. Maybe it comes back to 12 or 13 and then really gets going. So, that's one to look at. All right, you got me. Not a gamer got me. UNH. I think this is a forever stock. Type 2 on the bat. No confirmation. So maybe 434 on United. With these kind of stocks, these old economy stocks, all right, wait for confirmation. Wait for 2 of 2. I like that is 2 of 2. But I want to see some kind of yellow dot down here between 430, 460. No rush. You want to see something that really should look like, go to Philip Morris. It's 2 of 2 off the crab. We had yellow dots all over the place, 90 to 91. Now we did a nice move. Are we going to come back for a type 2? Don't know yet. But at least you had everything there. And that's UNH to a T. Interesting. Hey, Simon wants to look at T-Mobile. You guys got me here. Since I won't be here on Thursday, I'll go through a couple more. There's T-Mobile. This did cross my desk here like a week ago. Big bat pattern, but again, no confirmation yet. What's that look like? No confirmation. There's pattern completion, no yellow dot. And even with something like T-Mobile, even if it did react off the pattern without confirmation, I would still make this kind of assumption. If it was a reaction of 136, I would still look for it to come back down. If the 125 level was going to be support long term where it launches, it has to go through the 1-2. We'll do that. We'll talk a lot about that with the options next week. And again, it'll be a big review of the framework and why we want to look for certain spots. Okay, and something like T-Mobile, you're in a reactive phase, but that's all you are. I want completed type 2 retests with confirmation that are right there with option patterns, like where we started today. Let's see here. Where's oh, look at Intel. What's Intel on a 5-minute giving us something? That's interesting. That just happened. Intel on a 5-minute around 35. I like that. But where's AMD? Here's AMD. On the hourly, where's the option contract? Sorry. The 124s? 123s? On the 5-minute. Not as nice. Not as nice. Get a couple really. Oh, I confused it. It's the Amazon thing. It's the Amazon deal. Sorry, Amazon and AMD. I'm confusing. Amazon's in a better relative situation with not only pattern but option contract. 124s. Even though the call premium is like almost $3, or 125s. Looking for continuation into Friday. There you go. I'll be posting these in the Discord. I'll update that. I'll get some more there as these develop. The Tesla, thank you. So yeah, Tesla was probably the one with the 300s. Let's look at Tesla, the 5-minute right now. All right, coming off at 270, but remember, and Tesla could be a good play for Friday. This is the kind of speculative situation. Some of my best trades in the last month or two have been coming off of things like this. And it's the Tesla 300s. I'll leave you guys with this. Again, follow Tesla, stalk it, let it come off. You know, it popped right out of the gate this morning. But these 300s, now they're trading 70 cents. We were just looking at that 60. But understand that this one pattern will take 2 or 3 days to develop. So we get another shot in there. How does that look versus, say, the 290s? Really quick. But that's pattern, that's option setup. Yeah, it was a nice shark down there too. But that's what we're looking for. You guys see what I'm getting at? You got patterns on the underlying. You've got confirmation of oversold if it's an hourly or even a 5-minute setup that kind of springs it loose, and then we get moves like this. But we're still going to use 1-2 framework and securing it at the levels. You know, I no matter what, you're on that kind of a move, you're taking some partial profit in this area. If you're buying in the zone 85 or $1 and you're up 50% or more, you're starting to take profits and let the rest of it ride. We'll talk more about that, I think, next week, next Tuesday. We'll do the primer, if you will. If you have questions, again, get over to the basic members page on Harmonic Trader. Where'd that go? Hold on. Oh, here it is. So basic members page. Please get set up with TradingView and eSignal for those that are really ready to go. eSignal, get on the options because you want to spend a week just looking at the relationships. Don't go in there try to bang it right away. And I also am doing this now because I think the window that we're entering between now and the earnings season into August is going to give us one of the best option windows we've seen in years. It's already opened up. The breakout, the thing that we have seen, the acceleration is probably going to give us the best option environment since post-COVID. So get with the eSignal program as well. And if the options seminar, and thank you, Miss Stephanie, for putting that in the menu, click on that information link there. If you have questions, reach out to somebody on the Discord. All right? So come on back. We won't be here Thursday. We'll be back here. I don't know if I'll be here next Tuesday. Next Tuesday might be earlier. I'll be tweeting. I'll send an update on Twitter. I'm starting to tweet more. I had to pull myself off of Twitter for a little while. It was becoming Trigger, not Twitter. All right, so until then, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great one. And we'll, of course, see you next Thursday and next Friday for that full options seminar, so get ready. Thanks again, guys. Have a great one. Go get 'em.